You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Porrovecchio versus Touchet and Lutz.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Porrovecchio, you claim that the defendants, Ms. Touchet and her daughter, Ms. Lutz, fraudulently received $150,000 in settlement money from the death of your father, Ricky Porrovecchio Sr., because Ms. Lutz is not your biological sister and her mother covered up that fact.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've petitioned this court for a DNA test and hope to pursue a claim in your home state to have the money returned to your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Touchet, you are here to put an end to a more than 30-year-old feud between your family and the Porrovecchios, which started with rumors and lies about your daughter's paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Porrovecchio, how have you and your family been defrauded by the defendants?
My father was on a tugboat working, and he drowned, and accidental death is what it's said on his death certificate.
That's what it was declared.
That's what it was.
It's declared as accidental death, drowned.
So let me understand. Your father at the time was married to?
My mom.
Me.
Ms.
Laura
Touchet.
Touchet.
I feel the settlement was awarded to Ms. Touchet. Mrs. Lutz had a maiden name, her mother's Touchet as a maiden name of Theo. I have evidence right here on the birth certificate.
Jerome, let me see the evidence. And you submitted this birth certificate because you said originally she was named?
Theo.
Ms. Lutz was named Theo. And then later on, her last name was changed to Porrovecchio.
Yes.
So after your father passed away, you felt like she in some way affected the settlement distribution?
Correct,
Tell
Your
me.
Honor. A week after my dad was declared deceased, Miss Lutz was changed from Theo to
My mom had to
Porrovecchio.
change my name because I was born a Theo because she was out of wedlock. My dad and her were poor. They didn't have the money to be married. They were poor.
Disagree.
And after he died, they were already going to get my name changed. And after he died, she
disagree.
had to have it changed so that I can get the Social Security benefits that I deserve, just like Ricky did and just
Why
like my
did
other
they
brother
wait so
did.
long?
And also, Your Honor, it was with Ricky and I's full intention on changing my daughter's name as soon as we could come up with the money to do so. And also, when she was born, we were gonna put Ricky Porrovecchio's name on there and have her last name, but we were told by the hospital that legally we could not do that because we were not married.
It was
I
a
have 4
different
children
time.
that's out of
It was a
wedlock.
totally different time.
This
when
was
I was
in
born. There was no kids were
1982,
born.
It's not the
83,
1700s,
Ricky.
Lori.
It was in 83. You do not know what the laws and
You were little.
regulations were at that time.
Apparently you don't either.
Excuse me? I
It
was
doesn't
there.
matter.
You were not.
Okay.
My mom and my dad were separated, right, when he died.
And just living apart. There was no
Right.
legality to
They were
it
not
at all.
divorced, and my dad never said I was not his
denied
daughter.
it.
Okay, Mr. Porrovecchio, you brought a couple of witnesses. I want to get to the first witness. Ms. Cortez, am I correct?
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
stand at the podium. You are actually Mr. Porrovecchio Sr.'s sister.
Correct.
And so you are Mr. Porrovecchio standing here, his aunt.
Yes.
yes,
She
Your
never
Honor.
denied me either. This is the first time hearing about this a few weeks ago because I have never heard that I was not a Porrovecchio until we
I've
got into
never-
it on Facebook.
I've
She
never
actually met my mom at Mardi Gras and begged her to let us back in her life, which she did.
Yes, I did.
And then when we were at a restaurant celebrating my brother's birthday after being in contact for a year, she walks right past us at the restaurant on my brother's birthday like she didn't know us with her parents. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh,
She
Lord,
walked right past
remembers
us.
something.
She said on a social media site that she did not remember that, and I remember it very clearly. She made my deceased brother, cry. And then she wants to post things on social media with my deceased brother's picture, which she wasn't even in his life.
Ms. Lutz,
That's not
why?
true.
Yes, it
Ms.
was.
Lutz,
Not
I
true.
need to understand from you specifically, why do you think your brother is denying that you're...
Because they filled his head with all kind of lies. You know my mother more than anything in this world. She kept us together, Ricky.
Well, you know it's a family feud. Okay?
It's a family feud. It was
It's
not
things-
between me
it's
and you,
things-
Ricky.
That was
I know.
created by
She
y'all.
treated you like a son.
There's
They've
things
always had a
that
family
were
feud.
said in the family on my side, my
Okay.
father's side, and also on your side.
couldn't
What
you
did
come to
we
me
say?
quicker?
I never said anything bad to you
Never.
about the Porrovecchios because you were a child and there was no place in that for children. That was an
stayed
adult
out of it.
situation.
She kept us in contact after my daddy died. She didn't have to
So,
evict you from
Ms.
my
Lutz,
home and let us spend
Ms.
weekends
Lutz,
together.
direct your comments to the court. I want to understand this. Why do you think this is happening?
I have no clue. I loved Ricky with all my heart, and the fact that he would even question me and him being brother and sister kills me because I look just like my daddy. If anybody
So
looks
much
like
more
my
than
daddy,
you.
I look just like my daddy. I have a lot of anger for the Porrovecchios, my daddy's side of the family, because when my daddy passed away, they passed away. They basically were out of my life for good by their own choice.
So let me understand.
And that killed me.
Up until a certain part of your life, you were included in the family.
Up until my daddy died.
Accepted.
Yes,
as
ma'am.
a Porrovecchio.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Until how old?
Until my daddy passed away at 5. They were fine with us being a Porrovecchio. They didn't say anything before, but after my mom received money, they wanted to say, oh, we're not their grandchildren anymore. We're not his child.
Not true.
Yes, it is.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
The reason, as far as them separating, my brother and Laura, is that my brother walked in on her having an
Oh,
affair.
my God.
You
How
were
would you
sick.
know something like that? Your Honor, I'd like
It
to
was
explain
told-
that lie.
It was told
okay?
by my brother. I was
That's-
21 years old.
Dawn, you just need to stop lying and be done with that. Your Honor, this is exactly what happened, okay?
to drink.
When Ricky and I first met, I was somewhere around 16 years old. I mean, we just clicked immediately. He's a handsome, good-looking Italian man. I just couldn't help myself. I fell in love with him. After a couple of days, we started seeing each other for a while, and it was just him and I, just us together. Things were great. I got pregnant. I was almost 18 years old. I got pregnant. Things started going a little downhill from there because he started showing signs of jealousy and issues going on. We got past that. My daughter was born. The next year we got married. Then the next year my son was born. So we were doing okay.
And you were still together.
We
Right.
were still together.
You were a family.
We
Right.
were a
They
family.
had a
yes,
second
ma'am.
child, yes.
We had a second child.
And at that time, the Porrovecchios were acknowledging you.
Absolutely.
You
Not
were
a
part
doubt
of
in
their
their mind.
family.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to understand the fraud.
There
Where
was
does the
doubt-
fraud
there was
come
doubt
in,
from
Mr.
my
Porrovecchio?
father.
Was it his?
Hold on.
It was his parents that doubted us.
Let
after
him
the money was-
explain this, because I want to understand.
There was doubt from my father, thinking that Toreen was actually for him. But he did love Laurie, Touchet. He did love her.
Yes, he
Of
did.
course he did. He married her and had 2 children with her.
And so you're saying that there was always rumors or discussion in the family.
My father
that your
always felt-
father
Rumors
doubted
came
whether
from-
or not Ms. Lutz was truly his child.
The rumors
Correct.
came from the Porrovecchio family, and the only reason there's any question about any money is because they thought they can get their greedy little hands on it
The only
after
reason
my daddy
you know
passed.
anything
There was
about
nothing-
anything
Oh,
is
really?
because
All right, listen, I understand that you are upset and very passionate about this situation, but you're all over the place. I need to understand the doubt.
As
Did you hear
far
about
as
anyone
the-
else she potentially was sleeping with?
no, Your Honor.
The only thing I've heard was
And it's
my father walking in on Miss Touchet.
As far as
With
that,
apparently,
that's
co-worker.
such a lie.
With a coworker? There was a point that you were told that your father walked in on Miss Touchet and another man.
Right, correct, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's a lie. That's not the reason my husband and I separated initially. I got a job right as I finished school. I went to work. I was driving a really old, broken down car. My husband was home watching the children. I was driving the car. The brakes went out on my car. As I'm waiting, one of the mechanics came out of the back, who was a friend of my older brother, and saw me sitting there. He went to the auto parts store, bought brakes for my car, replaced them on my car. When I got home is when I found out my husband was so upset that I had been gone for so long. And
the same
as I
man
explained,
So what you're
Brought to my
saying, Ms.
father's
Touchet, is
funeral?
that's the only incident where you felt like your fidelity was in question?
Yeah, my dad had jealousy
He was a
issues.
jealous person. He accused me. That was the second
So
time he accused
this
me and
gentleman that they're
apologized.
talking about, the co-worker,
The one you brought to my father's funeral?
did you,
He was
Right,
a
she
friend
did
of the
date him.
were
family.
you
So
ever
what?
in a relationship
Unlike
with this
you.
Not in
man?
my eyes.
After my husband passed away, yes, ma'am.
You did bring him to your husband's funeral?
He was a friend of the family. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
was a
He
friend,
went.
So,
And,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah, and she was caught.
so what?
So wait a minute, Miss Cortez, you're saying that this is the man she was caught with?
Yes.
And then
that's what
during
they
your
said.
brother's funeral, this man was there?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
And then later they had a relationship?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
There
are
was,
you-
I lost
there was
contact
several people
for a
there.
while.
yeah, she lost contact because her parents wouldn't allow her to have
Exactly.
contact with her own family.
So I want to go to you, Ms. Lutz. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with your father. You remember having a relationship with him?
There's not a lot that I remember because I was so young, but I do remember my dad had this really big car, and he would let us ride on his lap, drive us around. I was daddy's girl. I was his only daughter. He had 2 sons. And
He loved his kids.
Like
loved
you
his
care. He
children.
loved his children.
Yes, he
kids.
did.
I love my
Hence
Loved
his
his
daughter.
kids.
And I grew up without a dad, and that was hard enough. And then when I grew up without his memories, his childhood, I didn't have that because they took that from me. They took that and all of his belongings.
Your mother took that
and
from
didn't
you.
give them back to me. Didn't let me have anything from my dad. And now they're taking my brother from me just because they have so much hatred in their heart.
And you two were close.
We were always close. My mother would make sure we stayed and kind of take weekends with him like that. Like she had visitation with him, like it was her child. We never fought. This is the first time we've ever had a disagreement, and I'm 32. I didn't know he even thought this kind of thing. I didn't know because he didn't tell me.
So you were never aware that there was a question related to your paternity?
No.
Until when?
Until about a month ago. That's the first time that I ever heard anything that I might not be a Porrovecchio.
And so you're saying, Mr. Porrovecchio, that the family just held this in? All this-
Family held it in, and it's hearsay. It's things that I've heard on my side of my father's family.
That's not
So
true.
how much money did Ms. Touchet receive? Do you remember, Ms. Touchet?
Yes, ma'am. And I have a copy of the settlement check here. It was for $325,000, but as you can see, it was separated $100,000 for each of the children, including Mr. Porrovecchio, and $25,000 for me as his legal wife.
Jerome, let me see that.
My mom always, I never
the money
wanted
that
for
was
anything. My
presented to
mother
me
bought a
was-
home.
Or it was under my name. My grandfather's the one who took the money and put it in an
Oh,
account.
I didn't even know that. That's
He
nice.
took it in an account and put it in there until I was
grandfather.
18 of age.
And when
to be
he
able to
turned
use that
18,
money
he bought a
for what I
Mustang
needed.
and he wrecked it and almost killed himself with it. My mother cared for me and my younger brother with that money, and I don't have any regret on how she
How
decided
many houses
to
y'all
spend
lived
it.
in?
One.
house.
One
She
house.
bought one house for
So,
us.
Mr. Porrovecchio, it is your intention that you want to return to your home state and
Yeah, okay.
file a claim to have that money returned to you. You believe...
Well, if she comes out, she's not my biological sister, I will pursue that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is 30 years going on. And
30 years.
And this is all new to me. That's what I love.
So,
This could have been done with 30 years ago.
so for 30 years, this family
could've
has
told me.
been in
There was a
turmoil.
reason. We
Sit
always.
down.
Why
Why are you here?
Why
you don't
are you-
even want me. Why
Hold
do you
on,
keep poking your head out?
hold on.
Sorry, Your Honor.
For 30 years, this family has been in turmoil
Yes, ma'am.
over rumors and ultimately a settlement, which is far too common.
Money.
That at
And
the
Your
end of the
Honor,
day, it
as
comes
you
down
know,
to that.
That is nowhere near the cost of what it takes to raise 2 small children.
I know I'm raising 4 kids.
I think the
Yeah,
only
like
way
different
we are
David
going to
mamas.
be able to figure out how and if we can move forward
Sorry,
is
my
to
life's
have
not
the
perfect
results.
like yours, Lori.
Jerome?
I don't
Shit.
want.
You should
I don't
be
want-
sorry.
I don't want a relationship anymore. I'm good.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. Just so we are clear, in order to determine if Ms. Lutz and Ricky Porrovecchio Jr. are siblings, we performed a siblingship DNA test using Mr. Porrovecchio Jr. and his mother, Ms. Bruce's DNA, as well as Ms. Lutz and her mother, Ms. Touchet's DNA. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. The results read as follows. in the case of Porrovecchio versus Touchet Lutz, pertaining to 32-year-old Toreen Lutz. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Porrovecchio and Ms. Lutz are siblings.
Thank you.
told
Keep up
you.
the lies, Ricky.
I told
Keep
you.
them up. You ruined our
Now you're
relationship with
done.
that lies.
You're done, Ricky.
Thank you very much, Dawn.
You the one that wanted this.
No, I wanted
shouldn't
it to
have brought
show
it out.
you. I
You
wanted
brought
to
it
show you
out,
we
and
never
you
had this
got
problem
exactly
until they
what
got in
you
the middle of
deserve.
us.
Let's get some order. Listen, listen,
I just wanted to know the truth.
So your
Yeah.
sister's nothing. She
I'm
never
nothing.
was
I didn't
nothing.
matter, right?
We get it.
And you killed our relationship. You know how I
family,
feel about this.
family. I was hoping the truth would be the catalyst to more positive discourse. That is your sister.
Oh, yeah?
Biologically.
No,
don't
stay on your side.
Hold on,
No,
he came
no,
to
ma'am.
give a hug.
ma'am.
I can't even do this, Ricky.
You wanted
No,
to do
goodbye.
Well, listen, he came over to try to give a hug. If you're not ready to receive that, take a moment
I've dealt with a
and
lot of
hopefully
grief.
one day, because I'll say this, what is the sense of fighting, yelling, screaming, and fighting for validation to say, I know I'm a part of this family, I'm a part of this family, and then you find out, yes, you are a part of the family,
I knew it.
but I don't want nothing to do with the family.
We didn't want it to begin with.
What's the
Your
reason to
Honor.
even being here?
What you stated today has been validated by the DNA. And what I'm hoping for you is that you will use that truth and say you don't have to harbor another hurt feeling. Everything you stood in court today and said was true. That is his child.
Yes, Your Honor.
But they're brother and sister. You all, like it or not, you're family. And you have to now take that one step at a time to figure out what good can come from what you learned today. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Your
Take
Honor.
advantage of the resources. Court is adjourned.